Alrighty, so let's get going. Real quick, guys. Like I said, this is just gonna be a quick review of one thing from yesterday for someone. I didn't record it. Um, I had a question on where on the forums things are located. So on Binary Options Edge, you just want to go down to the bottom, and you should see Trading Access. If you don't see it, that's one of two things happened. That either one, you're not signed in, or two, you don't have access. And if you don't have access, and you don't see these, then just hit me up and I will give you access, or sign in and you'll be able to see them. Your initial videos for your training are in Trading Access Updates. They are pinned. There's 7 of them. So you just go in order 1 through 7. Now the rest of it is just additional things. It's probably questions or information that I put out. If you have a question, you can look through and see if it's there. Some of this stuff doesn't pertain anymore because it was older, or we were working on other things with people. But there's 4 sections. There's questions, example trades, and the plus 4x section. So that's where everything is. I had one person ask me a question. I think they were going to the website, but they weren't signed in, so they weren't seeing anything, because they sent me several things saying I can't see anything. You'll know if you're signed in because up at the top it'll say your name right here. Alright, so that covers that. Next thing we're going to talk about real quick, and again guys, like I said, for you long-termers, this is going to be some boring crap I've probably covered 30 or 40 times. Today is a heavy news day. I've said it in chat, and I've said it here before I started recording, and I'll say it again. I would not be trading today. This is 45 minutes all the way up till 1 o'clock. All news, and almost all of it's USD. From 9... After 9, you're going to have a little bit of a break, but that gives you a 2-hour window. But on a heavy news day, I mean, you have to be able to look some days and say, I think I might want to pass on today. Or if anything, switch to your demo account and just practice. If you're live, don't risk it today. Personally, I would not. The reason being is in my opinion, you might see a lot of weird action because the U.S. market might be waiting for these statements to come out. Okay, so that covers news. That's 2 things down. Next thing, let's cover the easy one, pricing. So, with all the news today, one of the other reasons, one of the other reasons I say it's probably a bad day to trade is if you look on your TA indicator. Let me clear out a chart here. Actually, let's just go to a crap one. When I say crap, I'm going to find something that has a funky... screw you, Pepperstone. You don't show spreads. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find something crazy. Platinum versus dollar. Nah. South African rand versus Japanese yen. Let's try that one. Template. Sorry for... You'll get what I'm doing here in a second. I hope. Close. Close. Give me one moment while I set this up. I'm looking for something with a high spread. Alright. Can everyone... Let's go to the properties. And colors. Grid. We'll do white. And last, let's add in... this. Maybe I did something. Oh, I know why. What did I do? Let's try 1500. I'm not going to line this up perfect, so just so it can be on there. 1400. Okay. This price isn't moving much, but it's a good example. Okay, so one of the questions I had yesterday was about pricing. With news today, the spread which is on your indicator, it's right here, the spread is going to begin to fluctuate pretty wildly. That's one of the reasons I say don't trade. If we have a day where the spread is jumping around, then it's a shit day to trade. Now, reason being is, if we look here at the green, this is the MT4 price. It's 695. If we look down here, we have 969. There's a difference in this price and this price. Now, the BO price should be more along the lines of what your broker is giving you, whether it's your binary options broker, Nadex, might be a little bit closer, Cantor Exchange, any of them. If your broker's price is not somewhat matching this, and I mean within 1 or 2 pips all the time, not 1 or 2 pips, pipettes, it should be really close. If it's a pip off, then that's a ucky no-no, don't touch situation. I'll explain why here in a minute. Jesus, Gert's going off on explaining. Gert's really good at explaining. I don't know why I'm saying that in the recording. Nobody's going to know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, so anyway, what do we have here? The white line is where price currently is, and the red line, that is this takes into account the spread. So for instance, let's just show a quick example what happens. This red candle, let's try to find something where we can get screwed. Okay, well, basically this red candle. See how I'm holding this right in the middle? That's about where our BO price is. It's the red line plus the white line divided in half. That's about what your broker price is. Now, I picked a pair with an extremely large spread, just so you could see. It's totally over-exaggerated. But that is where price should be. And this pair isn't moving very much, so it's easy for me to work with, to demonstrate. But that's where your broker price should be. This is the purple line. This is the actual price. The red line is showing how much of a difference there is in the spread. Now, the problem we have is with these big spreads is the broker can quite literally pick any price from the red line to the white line to give you. They could actually do it, depending on how shady your broker is, they could do it more than that. But most of them, that's enough room for them to play with. Just like you have risk management, brokers have risk management. And if there is a spread, they can play with anything inside that spread. So let's say, for instance, this was our entry. Let me find it real quick. So let's say you got an entry and you took it about here with the current spread. They could move, and it closed and price went up. With this spread, they could actually say that you closed... Yep, that's the wrong way. Delete. They could actually say that you right price label, left price, right, here we go. They could actually say that you closed down here because it's within the spread. Okay, so that's why it's important to make sure that this number looks close to what your broker is giving you. It's also important, that's why I say 10 minutes before news. It's not just because news is coming out. News might not have any effect, but typically, and I want y'all to watch today, when news does come out, see how the spread is bouncing? It's like 1 pip, and now anything less than 1, if it's not double digits, that's 0.7. When news comes out, this number is going to jump to 5 or 6, 50 or 60, so that's 5 or 6 pips. That's why, and the closer you get to news, you'll see the spread start going up and up and up. So today, watch when news comes out and see what it does to the spread. When I tell you not to trade before news or after it, there's several reasons for it. 1, because you don't know what price is going to do for the most part. 2, is your spread's going to increase, and that increases your risk that the broker you're dealing with could play funny little games. And even if it isn't the broker, still on MT4, I don't trade during news because the spread is too big. So I might pick the correct direction of a trade. For instance, let's get back to here. Let's say this is 10 pips. I might pick a trade going down, but because of the spread, I might never make it in the money. The spread can literally become that big on the chart. It can encompass, it can even go off the chart. So it's really important, whether you're trading binary options or Forex, keep an eye on news, especially unless you're doing long-term trading. If you're doing short-term trading, when news hits, that spread can bite you in the ass. You could be in a perfectly good trade, the market could barely move when news hits, but because spread bounces open so much, it could close out your trade, and price won't even have moved. It will have moved zero. Okay, so are we good on... Oh, sorry, I got a fan blowing on me. This headache is just killing me. I feel like I'm burning up, too. Better not be getting sick. Okay, so does everyone understand pricing, spread, news, and today, highly recommend watch when news hits what happens to the spread on some of the majors. The majors should supposedly be the least affected by it, but I mean, like right now I got a zero spread on Euro, 0 to 0.1. When news hits, it's gonna go way, way up. Oh yeah, okay, and I mean, it's nothing big. As long as you're aware of news, then you're good. Just, you don't want to give the brokers an advantage, and when you're trading Forex, you don't want to screw yourself by putting yourself in a shit position, especially if you're doing smaller, short-term trades. When you're up on the 1-hour charts, the daily charts, the monthly charts, this kind of stuff doesn't matter. But if you're trying to learn off a daily chart, you're going to get a trade a week instead of these smaller time frames where you're going to get maybe 3 to 10 trades a day. Sorry, I'm coughing. Let me get a little coffee in me too. I don't know if caffeine's good for my headache. Okay, so if there's no question, so far we covered what? Forums, news today, how news is going to affect the spread, and the pricing you should be looking at. How I did it, if you're not good at watching the spread, you can always go into the properties on your chart, which is either F8 or right-click the chart, go to Properties, go to Common, and you just put Show Ask Line. Now, here is what a normal spread's looking like. You see how there's a white line? See how the red is just barely popping out of it? Those are the type of conditions you want. How much room does the broker have to play with there? Almost zero. I trade... Let's take a look real quick. For my shorter term, and I'm using a crap account on purpose because I want it a little bit higher because I'm going to be coming soon. I'll be sending some signals to people, but I'm using an account that purposely has a higher spread. So let's say AUD USD is 1.6, 1.5, 1.9, 1.2. Anything above 2 pips spread, I would consider excessive, especially for small term trading. Now, if on the 15-minute and the 1-hour charts, I could give 2 shits about the spread. The 15-minute a little, but when I'm on trading on the 1 hour with my itchy charts, I could give 2 shits about the spread. As long as it's nothing crazy. And when I say crazy, I mean 10, 15 pip spreads, which you will see during news occasionally. But for trading these shorter terms, you do need to be aware when news is coming to avoid these little spreads. And I mean, you can see here, this is with the spread on, and you're not seeing anything. The red line is almost following the white line exactly. But if we look here, this is the crap you want to avoid. And this is over-exaggerated again. But if you see something like this on your chart, you know that from here to here is playroom. Anything is fair game inside here. This is all fair game. That's all fair game compared to this. There is no play here. You'll see the red line bounce out of it occasionally. Okay. If we have no more questions on that, the next thing that I said I would go over today, and this was for... he's not even in here, but we're recording it. I want to go over money management. I'm not going to get real far into detail in it, and I'm not going to include the consistency part of it today. We're just going to talk about 2 types of money management. There's typical normal money management, which would be, I guess you could call it compounding. And there's days when market's just really not going your way, and I call it turtle trading. Neither one of them is martingaling, although one is similar to it, but I'll explain why it's not here in a second. Let me get this up. I apologize that today's short. It's just my head hurts, and with all this news, I'm not even going to struggle to make it through it. Okay, so max we ever want to be trading with on our account is 5%. Sorry, I forgot I had music on. Hope that wasn't annoying anyone. Let me close this because we're not going to be going to it anymore. Okay, so the max we want to be trading with is 5%. For money management, what I highly recommend you do is after every single trade, win or loss, you always update your balance. Reason being is if you get on a winning streak and you're compounding after each trade, it's going to grow your account faster. Now, if you get on a shit streak and you're doing bad, if you decrease this balance, these are going to decrease also, and it's going to protect your investment. You need to do, there is no if, ands, or but. If there's a Bible to trading, it is money management. I do not know how many people in this group have learned how to trade and because of money management have failed. And I don't mean to say that to be a dick. It's disappointing to see a good trader fail because of money management. And we have plenty that have succeeded but failed on the money management side. And when I say that, I mean they get aggravated that they're doing good, their account's growing, but they get a 3-streak loss and somehow they lose it and go ape shit and start placing stupid ass trades outside of these boundaries. Okay, so every trade, again, this is your Bible. Every trade, it needs to be updated. If you do this, it protects your drawdown cycles and it protects your profit cycles. It makes them go faster going up, slower going down. This isn't an if, and, or but thing. It needs to be done. If you don't do it, you won't be successful. Money management is, money management, in my opinion, is more important. Being able to stick to a good money management plan is more important than learning how to trade. And I know that makes no sense. And 2 years ago, I wouldn't have said it, but I say it now because I see a lot of people pick up on how to trade, but they can't get the money management portion down. And I never thought it would be following a spreadsheet and putting a number in. I didn't think that would be difficult. I thought teaching people to trade would be difficult, and I'm struggling to get people to follow decent money management plans or not to break their money management plan. If you're getting upset and you think you're going to do something stupid, close the charts, turn the computer off, walk away. I don't know how to explain this anymore. I'm at a loss how to get people to follow money management. So the only thing I can do is stress how important it is. This is, if you want to put it that way, this is your Bible. It's 4 little boxes. I'm sorry, 8 little boxes. Okay, so now, good days, we can follow this. Now let's say you're having a bad day trading or you're not too sure of yourself. If our max allowable trade is 5%, we could do something that's called turtle trading, which is we do a 1% trade. Shut up. Give me a sec, let me unprotect it. Just go to a different sheet. There we go. Okay, so turtle trading. Why do I call it that? Is because the growth on the account is very slow doing this. But it allows you, if you are live, or even if you're demo, to still get 2 trades in without hitting the 5%. Now, how it works is all your trades would be based off of a 1% initially. If the 1% is a win, your next trade is 1%. If it's a loss, your next trade will be 3%. What does that put us at? A win. If you get a loss, that still only puts you at 4% of your account. If you get a win, great, we go back to 1%. If you get a loss on your 1%, you go 3%, and you get a loss, you just lost 4%, but you go back to 1%. the idea behind trading this way is to give you two chances at a trade instead of one. It helps some people with their confidence. The account does grow slower, but it helps some people with their confidence. Let's say if they're just having a rough day, or for some reason the charts just don't look right to them, but they still want to trade. This is a way to do it, and honestly, if you hit 2 losses in a row doing this, that's 4 trades. So if you hit 2 cycles of losses, I guess you could call it, like when you do 4% losses, I'd probably stop. This isn't really money management, but after every trade you lose, you need to go back and look at the trade and decide, did you follow all the rules of what you're doing? Basically, you're looking, did you make a mistake in taking that trade? If no mistake was made and it was market conditions, and this would go back to a journal, which we'll get into a little bit. So let's say we won and then we lost and it was market conditions. So we go back and we take a win. Now we take a loss and it was user error. That's what we want to look for. That's why every time you take a loss, go back, review your trade, take a look at it. If it's market conditions, pat yourself on the back, you took a good trade, don't be upset. If it's user error, you need to sit, think about it, and correct that issue right away. If that involves posting the trade into the room and saying, look, I made a stupid trade, do it. And I hate to put it this way, but if it embarrasses you, post it up. Share your failures. You're going to learn more from your failures than you are from your correct trades. I hate to cut it this short, but let's open it up for questions first. Are there any questions on what I just covered between the forums, news, how news is going to affect spread, how spread affects what your broker pricing is, and why we don't want to trade before news because of the spread on both Forex and binary options. We also went over your Bible, basically. I'm not even a real religious person, but this is your Bible. That if you don't stick to proper money management, you will not succeed. Again, I'm not being a dick when I say this. It's just as simple as that. You don't stick to money management, you don't succeed, whether it's Forex or binary options. No money management, no succeed. And then I talked about turtle trading. This is the days when the market looks wishy-washy to me, lacking structure. I will turtle trade. And the last thing we covered, and whether this is binary options and Forex, is... Okay, I didn't quite finish this up. Okay, so here's 1% trade, market conditions. Trade went against us. What you do need to do, and what I highly recommend, is wait for another setup to go by on the chart. Now, what else affects the spread other than news? The time of day. Like, right now, Euro USD is at 1.3. Check it at 5 p.m. tonight. 4:35 p.m. It'll probably be 3 or 4 pips. That's kind of a in-between markets time. Aussie's opening up, but it's just time of day is about really the only other thing that affects it. It's news-based. The spread is basically news-based, I guess you could say. But the time of day, like if some of the markets aren't open between the end of the U.S. session and when everything ramps back up, Aussie and yen, you'll see the spread fluctuate a lot. That's why a lot of people, they want to trade the Asia session for like binary options, but I tell them no. I mean, the spread there gets shitty, so even if you get a good entry sometimes, if you watch the broker, the pricing's all whacked out and it's off. Anyway, let's get back to what I was saying before I forget. So you take a loss. I didn't cover this. So you take a loss in market conditions. I'll use the Forex side of it for an example. Give me a second. These all look like crap, just FYI. You can see prices bouncing through the slow ribbon. Prices touching down here. It's just That's due to news, mostly. Because we've already went through a series of news in the morning. Okay, so here's a good example. We have our pullback, price comes out, and it only moves up 6 pips, and I had a 9 pip target. So here's the candle, This was our pullback. Price came out. Let's say I entered. I'll draw a line. It makes it easier to see, I think. So I entered here. Price only moved up 6, not 9 pips, so I didn't really get into it. I get stopped out. It drops, what? So it drops 3.6. It drops 9 pips, let's just say. So I get stopped out here. So right here, the trade gets closed because I hit my stop loss. So what am I going to do? I'm going to stop and review the trade. So let's take a look at it by the book. Cancel. And this is what you should be doing on binary options or your Forex trades. So I go back and look at it. Well, did I take a bad trade? I don't think so. Price went up. We did have a little bit of a dip in. Price went up, didn't quite hit it, and then it dropped. So my stop loss, was my stop loss too tight? That's the first thing I want to look at. If you're trading binary options, you want to go through the rules. Make sure you didn't miss something on the chart. Or did you trade against the trend? Did you just take a stupid trade? Did you have bad entry? Did you jump the gun and get in 2 minutes early because you were excited you had a good setup? It could be anything, but you want to review the trade. Once it says, nope, it wasn't me, let's take a look at the market conditions. So the market moved against us. Whoop-de-doo. The thing I would say then, and it really depends, for binary options, if we can spot a pattern, like here it's dropping down, and it dropped right back down again, well, this is hard to do because then we have a double bottom, but we want to see if a pattern's forming of it. Like, is the market conditions changing? Or did the market just move against us once and we should be good to go? Take your time to review your trades. What you're really trying to identify is the fact that, was it a user error trade? If it was, you need to correct it or find out before it goes on. That's the idea why I ask y'all to post up your trades, because we can take a look at it and you can say, no, that was an excellent trade. Just because you lost a trade doesn't mean it was a bad trade. You can lose a trade and it can still be a good trade. One of the guys yesterday was asking me about Martingale, and since he'll be watching this because part of the video was for him, he asked me, does Martingale ever work? And no, it doesn't. Reason being is a Martingale system, and we were talking about Kazi. He had a 7-step Martingale, and I mean, a 7-step Martingale, I guess you could say, probably will get you some type of win 99% of the time. It's that 1% that fails. That means Martingale is never going to work. You're in the long run of things, and I wanted to cover Martingale because I had like 3 people ask me about it. In the long run, a Martingale system is always going to fail. Reason being is the market is random. So that a random effect in the market is going to cause a Martingale system to fail 100% of the time. It's just a matter of time before it fails and you blow your account. So hopefully that answers the question on that one. No, there is no way a Martingale system would ever work. Reason being is there is no system that can hit 100% because the market has a bit of randomness in it. It is not 100% predictable ever. Nobody can hit 100% ITM because the market is random. That pretty much sums it up for today, guys. I'm honestly just going to lay down for a bit and see if I can get rid of my headache. And I don't feel guilty at all about it because of all the news that's coming in. We got news coming in 15 minutes. Just as, I guess you could say, homework. Watch the spreads. Now that you know about them, be aware of them. Here's cable. You see the line, the spread? Tiny little bit, not too bad. Let's look at euro. Properties. Remember, you go to properties and show ask line if you want to see it on there. And you can change the color. So there's the spread there. It's 1.3. It's not too bad, but like I said, I'm purposely have an account that has a shit spread on it. But watch spread during the news and see how news affects it. It'll hopefully cement in your mind why we do not want to be trading during news. Tomorrow we're going to go into a little bit of Forex. I'll show you what I got on the chart today. With this, it's zigzag, but it's non-repainting. If you've watched zigzag, zigzag can repaint. And these are slow and fast dots. The blue are fast dots. The orange is a combination of slow and fast together when they both post the same. It's not really that it's zigzag, it's to help y'all with a little bit of the trend lines and drawing things. It's just an assist for y'all to draw things on the chart. I don't really use them, but when Gert brought it up, I forgot I had the indicator, and for me it's a great tool for y'all to use to learn how to draw trend lines and to notice here. Like, you can see this one. I'll change the thickness on it. Sorry, this is just so you can, have a little of what we'll do tomorrow. Let's make it thick, and we'll make it, I don't know, aqua sounds good. It's how you can use your trend lines, because if we waited for it to here, it still would have given us the same thing if we were waiting for a breach here, but we could draw it as a little bit of a trend going down, and when this candle closed, that was our entry in. So that's the type of thing we're going to look at tomorrow. The dots will help you with spotting them, hopefully. Maybe not, maybe so, but hopefully they will. And it's nothing amazing. It's a visual tool to help you see things on the chart. And it'll take you practice, of course, to get used to them. And see, like now, after this breach, for me, I mean, you could say price, we could draw it this way for now. It's just another tool to help you keep engaged with the chart, in my opinion. So we'll go over that tomorrow on the Forex side of things. I didn't even take a look at news tomorrow. Forex Factory. Tomorrow's news, how's it looking? Jesus, it's another heavy news day tomorrow. So yeah, we'll probably focus on the education side of things. After 7:30 it'll clear up a bit, so we'll try and focus early on the education side. And then if my daughter's not up, we'll focus on taking some trades after the news clears out. But other than that, do we have any questions before I go snuggle my pillow? Maybe I am getting sick. My nose is stuffed up too. Or it's just the freaking allergies, I bet, because of all the rain. Remember, guys, these are crap to trade. Looking at this. USDCHF. No. I think I'll be fine tomorrow. I really think it's because I slept on my daughter's Pikachu. She has a big stuffed Pikachu. It's like the size of a pillow. And she spent the night at her aunt's, but she left it on the bed, and somehow I grabbed her doll and decided I was sleeping on it. Tomorrow with these dots, they also are going to pertain a little bit to... It's basically going to be drawing trend lines. So you can look at tomorrow's, we're going to be taking a look at trend lines. In my opinion, trend lines are stronger than horizontal lines, but we'll get into that tomorrow. Let me kill the recording. Thanks for watching if you were watching on the recording.